Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right. Here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
It's a hit. It's a run. He's taking second. He's rounding third. He's going for home. Wait a minute. The show's just starting.
Episode number 180. Starting off with Peter's humor. Name of this episode is What Most Real Estate Investors Are Guilty Of, and they get the death sentence every time they do it.
Ooh.
What most real estate investors are guilty of and why they get the death sentence every time they do it. How's that for a headline, Peter?
That's scary, Bill. Death.
You may ask, who are the jurors convicting these average real estate investors to death? The simple answer, the seller with his or her name on the deed that never gets passed to the seller, so the investor's job can be performed with a big paycheck. And the really ironic part of this phenomenon is the investor thinks he's doing nothing wrong. And in most cases believes he is doing what is correct to create those big checks.
That he doesn't see.
Exactly. Yet they don't ever come or don't come often enough. And the really crazy part is the investor thinks he just needs a shiny new gun or a better hunting equipment to find his target.
Mm-hmm.
This one downside of investing is not talked about with the students, but only amongst the teachers.
Oh.
Why? The teachers know the students won't come to class because it isn't shiny enough to attract the failing investor not using it to find and close deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do I have your attention?
What? The teachers are talking amongst themselves? Wait a minute. Let's listen to what they have to say.
So, Pete.
Yes, Bill?
I want to start this podcast off with an apology.
Well, sure, that way. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Get it out of the way.
What we are going to cover today is not exactly the positive, glowy, big check now, easy to do it in this business type stuff.
Oh, you mean the big phony baloney pep talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not
the
do
sales pitch talk.
Yeah, let's not do that one. Promises, almost through with.
But instead, I'm going to cover some very ignored and not taught real life and most feared downsides we all go through in this business.
You know, Bill, we talk about people being afraid in the business and having fear and not being sure of themselves. You know why?
Tell me.
Because they're always told everything is wonderful.
Yep.
It's going to work out good. You're going to make all this money and it's so easy. And they don't think it's true because maybe it isn't.
Right.
Maybe there's a reality to, some good, some bad, and just got to know what you're doing. So maybe they'd feel more comfortable having the other side of the coin.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Episode number 180.
Okay.
And although many slicksters will use downsides while pitching, you meaning your wallet, their motive is to sell you a solution. So the only time you hear the downsides is when your wallet's connected to it.
Like the time I had a timeshare and they said, by the way, there's a little problem with it. You see, the dates have changed and the rules have changed and this won't be as good as it used to be. My wife's going, what do you mean? Don't worry, honey. There'll be a price to fix this. And then you can't do this. You can't do this. Can't send your kids to Florida on the bonus trips. And my wife, what do you mean? Don't worry, honey. There'll be a price for this. We just waited the 15 minutes. Another $7,000.
Right.
But I didn't do it because it was bullshit. And yeah, but there's always big problem and a solution. And a fee. Well, in reality, that's also true, but is it a real problem? Is it a real solution? Does it get you there? That's the point.
This podcast will be different because there isn't a sales pitch to your answer.
Mm-hmm.
The solutions are here. In fact, by just me naming them and explaining them, in most cases will be enough for most of you to handle them.
They'll just vanish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, when you really nail the problem, you go, oh, boom, that's it, done.
Yeah.
If you're really exact with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of an exact guy.
Okay.
Go for it.
And once it starts to come together in your mind, things will start to open up on the deal front.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
that deal front.
On the deal front.
Here we go. No chit chat this morning. We're in the pond right now, Peter.
Number 1.
Making sure you are aiming at the right market when hunting for deals.
Huh.
So I'm going to give an analogy. I want to put a disclosure here. I am a hillbilly. I grew up in the woods. We hunted, we fished, we trapped, we did all kinds of stuff. We grew gardens, we canned, we prepared for the winter like little squirrels. This is how I grew up. For a long time, I was ashamed of it. Now I'm damn proud of it because it made me a frickin' American.
You're a survivor.
I am. So I'm going to talk about deer hunting, and it involves guns. If you're a damn liberal and think we shouldn't have guns, then shut your podcast off right now.
Yeah, go up to Boston and ask them what happened there in 17, whatever it was.
So there you go.
Yeah.
I've said my stance because I'm not going to be politically correct. Picture this. You want to take up the sport of hunting. More specific, you want to hunt deer.
Mm-hmm.
So you may start with buying gear, right?
Yep.
Researching what gun to use. Special scents to attract the deer. How to dress a deer once you shot it. You know what it means to dress a deer?
Yeah, you prepare it for being able to eat it and remove the bad parts.
Right.
I just looked that up last week.
Good.
Dressing. Because, if you dress a turkey, you don't put his pants on.
No. Usually means you gut it. That's
Yeah.
usually what it means. That's its slang, as you
Yeah.
take his intestines out.
In general, it's
after the
preparation
kill,
for
yeah.
cooking, so it covers everything. Prep.
Maybe a likely place the deer would be. You're going to study all this, right? See, a lot of prep work you think you need before you actually step 1 foot into the woods. Does that make sense?
Well, I'll bet our pioneer and native people that lived in any place in the world didn't do all that stuff.
So they're trying to learn without ever experiencing actually being in the woods.
Mm. Too much know before you go?
Yeah.
Mm.
Right? And here's what happens when you do that. You end up with obstacles that are manufactured and a very, very weird piece of real estate.
And what?
And a very weird piece of real estate. The space between your ears.
Oh, that one. I was waiting for something.
Right?
Bingo. Yeah.
So, if you've never walked through the woods and you don't know how a deer lives or where he is, which I'm going to cover in a minute, what are you studying? Your interpretation of what your camouflage should look like? Your interpretation of whether you should buy a tree stand or something that's down on the ground that looks like a bush that you could hide behind so when the deer comes by, they don't see you?
Yeah.
Truth of the matter is, if you were really a deer hunter and you really knew what it was like to hunt deer, you would know that a deer can smell you much before they can see you.
Oh.
But you need to experience that.
They don't tell you that in the ad, huh?
Right. Okay, here's my point. If you don't point your gun at a deer or have this opportunity, every piece of fancy equipment, special gun, the clothes you have on will all be utterly, absolutely, totally, completely worthless. Because if you're going to go deer hunting, sooner or later you got to pick up a gun and aim it at a deer.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff, I'll call it paraphernalia, because it is that, didn't make that split second or those couple of minutes or whatever it's going to be worth it. Do we agree?
Yeah.
You have to have a deer and a gun or a bow and arrow. You know, something to fire at the deer.
Rock.
To bring the deer down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Otherwise, this adventure is nowhere near a success. It's something else. If you're going to go deer hunting, you have to decide before you decide to take this up for a hobby, that you're going to kill an animal. You have to decide that in your own mind. You have to decide that you're okay with that. Right? Which is very primitive, but it's how anybody that has a problem with killing an animal should probably not eat a hamburger.
Yeah.
Or go to McDonald's. Or, in most cases, put on a lot of types of clothes that we wear. It's just a food chain thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to make discredit of it, but at the other time, you have to make that decision before you decide you want to become a deer hunter. Because at the end of the day, what does a deer hunter do?
He hunts deer.
Which means what?
He has to shoot one.
He's going to have to point the gun and pull the trigger.
Yep.
And much like what we experienced last night, which you don't even know this, but once I tell you, you'll realize it. Some of my thought to be, or could be, or would be best coaching clients won't pull the trigger. They'll aim the gun. They'll even find the deer. They'll tell everybody around them how to do it.
Yeah.
But they won't pull the trigger.
Well, they couldn't because, in the first place, it was a little too far off, and then there might have been somebody nearby, so they thought it'd be dangerous, and then it might have been too old or too young, or.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real estate's the same. You need to have a seller and a way to close them on giving you a deed or controlling the property. That's no different than pulling up a gun and pointing it at the deer. You need to have a seller that's willing to sign documents, which is either a deed or contracts to control the property, like a lease option or a slot deal. Okay. If you don't know what a slot deal is, go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and you will find videos there. So here we go. We are so on Bill's planet right now, we have no idea.
I thought we were lost in the forest somewhere.
We are in my head. And this is raw. This is not edited. This is just raw. So what most investors do is obsess on the deer. I'm sorry, I'm going to give that to you again. What most investors don't do, what most investors don't do is obsess on the deer. Where do they live?
In their head?
The deer.
Oh, where the deer live?
Yeah, they don't obsess on the deer.
Yeah.
So you're going to become a deer hunter.
Yeah.
You should obsess on the deer.
Yeah.
Right? Where do they live?
Yeah.
Right? What do they eat? Where do they bed down at night?
Mm-hmm.
Where do they get their food and water? Most don't know this, but deer travel the same routes. I'm going to say same routes for other parts of the country. Same routes or same routes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we drive cars on roads, deer travel the same way. So, does it make sense?
Yeah, they make paths.
Yeah. So, did you know that?
Not surprising. Makes sense because they don't have GPS or phones, so they
Right.
find a way, and why not stick with it? It works, so they keep it.
Right. So, when you actually get onto a deer path, it will lead you if you know how to do it, if you know what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. Is it possible to be walking through the woods and not notice a deer path?
Sure.
Right? There's going to be signs like, trees they rub up against and branches that are worn and, hoof marks in certain muddy areas.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
There's going to be, leaves disshuffled.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's going to be signs that if you didn't know what they were, you would never recognize it. You would walk right by.
Yeah, you'd miss it.
So if you haven't studied these things I'm talking about, like where do they live and what routes do they travel, if you didn't even know they traveled routes, you don't know what you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
what would happen?
Oh, you totally miss stuff.
You walk right by it.
Yeah.
Right?
And they could
But-
be 50 feet away somewhere.
Yep. But you'll have your nice gun and your camouflage uniform and all your gear and all the special stuff that you paid a lot of money for and
And beer.
whatever. Right?
Stuff.
And like you said, the deer are 50 feet away watching you walk by.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? In real estate, it's like this. How can we find motivated sellers affordably?
Mm-hmm.
Are they likely to listen to a creative offer?
Mm.
Are they in or are they out?
Yeah. Are they knowledgeable enough to track with it right away, or are they going to be lost and confused? And it's not common knowledge. It's just not.
Right. Are they able to do the terms deals with you or not? Did you get that?
Mm. Are they able to?
What does that mean?
Well, in people we've talked to, sometimes they're in a situation where they need a lot of money right now, even if it's not a lot. Whatever it is, they need it to do something. I talked to a lady one time, she needed 30, 40 grand. Husband had cancer. Insurance wasn't going to pay for it. She needed to sell this property to get that money. And it almost didn't matter what the price was, if she could get that and a little bit more.
Right.
It wasn't like, sure, I'll wait a few years and at least. So sometimes you just can't.
Right. And there might be other things like tax problems.
Yep.
Or, city or town violations,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of different situations.
Yeah.
But are they able to do a terms deal?
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes not.
More importantly, if they take a deep discount, are they able to take a deep discount or do they owe too much money?
Right.
Right? So, in other words, are they qualified for the offer you're going to give them? Which is a huge reason why we make our offers based on the equity, because we already know all that now, because there's no sense in making a cash offer for $120,000 when they owe $150,000.
Yep.
What happens at that particular point is you and your seller just departed one another mentally. The seller's no longer listening to you. You had your one opportunity and you lost them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like walking past the deer path and not knowing that there's a deer path there, because you didn't know that, because you didn't do it the right way. You didn't follow the sequence. You didn't do all the things that we talk about on this podcast, 180 of them, right? And you made a wrong offer. Now, this is not difficult to learn. It's just kind of common sense.
It's common sense if you realize you're not just buying property on the MLS and it's just a dollar sign and
Right.
it's going back, and no one ever finds out what's really happening with the other party, which is just a different role, a different model from what we're doing.
Completely. How about this one? How hard is it to get trust with the seller so that he doesn't slow the process down?
Mm.
and make it unviable.
Mm. You can't make them nervous. That doesn't work.
So how could a seller make their deal unviable? An attorney.
Oh. Yeah.
A realtor.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they don't trust you, and they're going off for third-party advice.
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk to my lawyer is language for I don't trust you. I don't trust anybody.
I don't think they even trust themselves.
Right. And what I find is those people themselves are either uneducated and they know it, or they themselves would cheat others.
Oh, really?
People accuse those of what they themselves are doing. So if they don't trust you, that means they shouldn't be trusted themselves.
Yeah, that's suspicious and don't. Yeah.
Right? So to me, that's a sign.
Sure.
If somebody wants to go see their lawyer, that's fine. Now, some people, it's just because they feel like if you have an illness, you go to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
which is correct, and you trust the doctor. It puts the doctor in a precarious situation because he becomes godlike.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever the doctor says is the end-all, be-all. Never taking into consideration that the doctor could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so many deals I've lost with incorrect information from an attorney. Because attorneys themselves are usually fearful people. In most cases.
That's funny, but you could use the law to protect yourself, couldn't you?
Yep.
I mean, you should to a certain degree, but not to the point of terror or fear.
I don't know how to explain this, and that makes sense. I don't know how to explain this, but I have had people in my life that will seem like they're helping me. And they're on my side.
Mm-hmm.
And they use the rules and the laws to get their way. In other words, they don't have the fortitude to confront me and say, I don't agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But instead will bring to my attention that this is a law and you shouldn't do that. I don't know if I'm explaining this fully the way I see it in my own mind because I still don't have a clear picture on it. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that some personalities live in those prisons where they feel like they need to be protected because they're kind of fearful and they're kind of trying to protect their money. And a good way to figure that out is with someone's confront level. How much can they confront? I use a very simple gauge, which I've never talked about before, but I use a very simple gauge. It's confronting evil.
Mm.
How good or how bad are they at it?
Yeah.
Right? So if you're in a war and you have to confront evil, who do you want next to you?
Maybe somebody kind of brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And somebody that has confidence in themselves enough that even if they make the wrong decision, they made a decision and acted on it.
Mm-hmm. And they'll find their way out of it.
Right. And I go through that with people around me all the time. People that work for me, people that work with me. You know, it's like they make mistakes. And I never yell at a mistake. It's like, I'm glad you did something.
Mm-hmm.
No, it sucks that you screwed up. And now you need to fix it. So how are we going to do that?
But the only people who ever get yelled at are people who are doing things.
Yeah.
And the people that don't do anything just slide by. What good is not doing anything? I'd rather be in that pool with the guys who are trying.
Right.
We're digging our way out.
Right.
And when you say evil, it's just figure, not war, but in common day life, it's just controversy or some upset or something or there's a problem. It's nasty.
Right.
And you have to be able to face up to it and just get your way through it.
Right. Totally.
And some people just, I'd rather not. Well, okay, fine. Just go back to your job.
Okay, good. So basically back to the deer hunting. If we're going to aim our weapon, it needs to be with the correct prey, right?
Yeah.
we don't want to shoot Bambi. Right?
Nope. Or his pregnant mother.
Exactly. And there are actually permits on how many, the rack size. In other words, how many antlers or horns or whatever you want to call it, and their antlers, how many points they have.
Yeah.
And that tells you the age of a deer.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to not only know that law, but when you pull your gun up, you have to make that evaluation before you pull the trigger.
So they're not too young?
Right.
Too old is okay?
Yeah.
Because you're getting old.
Right.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what kind of gun, clothes, equipment, or all the shiny objects for the deer hunter. It comes down to how long did it take you to find that right deer, that specific deer, at the right time with the right weapon.
Mm.
Does it take you a week? Does it take you a month? Does it take you 3 years? And I'm speaking to those analysis paralysis people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm speaking to those that have not received a check from real estate activities.
Yeah.
Or continuous checks that are cashable, spendable money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So in real estate, nowhere near enough time is obsessed on who do we aim for.
Mm-hmm.
See, making an offer is the opportunity we need for success.
Yeah.
It's actually the accelerator. And way too many investors let all the other stuff occupy time, thinking they are busy doing real estate, quote unquote, when they aren't even in the woods, like in deer hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Next. Offers are the accelerator of success. The more you give, the faster your success. If your checks are not close enough together, then you're not making enough offers. If you have no checks, you're not making enough offers. If you're not happy with the amount of checks, you're not making enough offers. It is not a mystical, some mystery, like some secret, some shiny object, a piece of software. It's just that. I'm not talking about anything except making an offer. And nowadays, as I explained in my meetup last night, with that said, my business is excelling because of the way we're making offers. Because what we've been doing is the long runway. I feel like the way we've been doing it is like 1930 style.
Bad
compared to what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And the point being is we used to hunt for leads.
Yep.
Pre-screen them.
Mm-hmm.
Then do the prospect suspect for them and screen them again.
Mm-hmm.
And then see if they qualified for some sort of a terms deal. Go out to the house, look at the house,
talk to them
make
for
an
an hour and a
offer.
half.
Right. Now what we do is we find them online. We text them. We have literally a 3-minute conversation with them, if that.
Mm.
We ask them a couple key questions, which I read last night in the meetup. And if they're interested, we send them an offer. And only then is when we actually give them our time.
Mm-hmm.
But we send pre-made offers with software that is made for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just Excel spreadsheet. That almost a 4th grader could do. AKA a virtual assistant.
Bill, the kids in school now, they get laptops, right?
Yep.
I was talking to my students the other day. As I'm a music teacher, I got students. They're giving them to kindergartners now.
Mm-hmm.
So they can get used to, using them.
Yep.
It's like, remember, it used to
My
be
grandson is going to be 2 years
chalkboard.
old in March, and he's already using one.
Yeah.
I had to buy him a laptop, not a laptop, an iPad case.
Yeah.
That's for kids.
Yeah.
So when he wings it across the room, it doesn't break it.
Yeah. Crazy. But the chalkboard and chalk
is gone.
Yeah, it's a pad. It's the same thing, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
Are we clear?
Mm-hmm.
Have I made my point? Has the jury been seen? Because I want to move on to number 2.
Yeah. No, I could sit here for 5 minutes just going, wow, that is just so cool.
Yep.
Because, we do it in different parts of our business, like even the multifamilies, spend a lot of time to make the offer, and the guy's not even interested.
And that's part of what I'm going through, because you and I have a 12 family we've been working on, and I must have 30 hours into there, and the guy literally looked at my offer for less than 5 minutes, read 2 paragraphs, and said no.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 30 hours into that offer.
Yeah. But from what you're saying right now, looking back at some of our own scripts, we could have asked that question right up front, like, hey, would you be interested in this kind of offer? He goes, no. We say, thanks, goodbye.
Yeah.
Or see if we can do the other, what he's willing to do. If we can't, then we go goodbye.
Yep.
Without spending the time.
Yeah.
But it was good practice for sure. Yep. And we learned a lot. But here it is falling in our laps. Just ballpark the offer. This A, B, C.
Yep.
There's 3 versions. Are you anywhere near any of those? No? Mm-hmm. Goodbye.
Yep.
If you're close to that, hello.
It's called the litmus test.
Yeah. Don't waste time.
Take his temperature.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk, but they always say, well, what's your offer? So why talk that much?
This new program that we're talking about, which you can't find anywhere. So if you're curious about what we're talking about right now, you have to send me a support ticket at flippinghousesforrookies.com. Top right-hand side, hit contact us, because the sales page hasn't been written. I have 15 people that I'm going to put into an internship or an apprenticeship, whichever way you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to start training assistants, because I want to extend my business around the country and start getting partners.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start training people on how to do this so they can be my partners, if they so desire. Yeah. They don't have to. They could do it on their own if they want. But I'm going to train a few people, right? And the point is that for me to expand like this, I have to start teaching people this. And the only way that it could happen is to do 1, 2, 3 offers a day.
Yep.
Or a week. And now it's done simply. I mean, I haven't tested this, but it could be as stupid as you go online, find the house, and don't even talk to the person, and just mail them the offer.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is Bill. I saw your house online, and I thought I'd send you an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to call you back.
Mm-hmm.
You send them a letter of intent with 3 offers on there. And here's the thing. The calculator that we use, the Excel spreadsheet, all you do on that spreadsheet is you put in the comps. You go to 3 or 4 different websites, and you see what, like Zillow and Appraisal, eAppraisal and Redfin and, Realtor.com, RealQuest. You go to those websites and see what that site says the house is worth. You put it in the spreadsheet, those numbers, those 4 or 5 numbers, and the spreadsheet automatically populates all 3 offers that you put on a Word document and mail to somebody.
That's insane. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And it's real easy. I remember a few years ago, you said, what the house is worth? Like, how would I know? You type it in Google. What do you mean? You type the address in Google. Really? And you push enter? And it just shows up? It's that easy? Yeah. Well, there's some easy parts to this business.
We're not even doing that anymore. I'm giving you the name of the websites. Go to these websites. They'll give you the appraisal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sitting right there. It's not like you have to beg or pay money. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I think you have to realize that as much as we're trying to do something, someone else is trying to do something, like sell the house.
Right.
They're trying to do that too,
That's right.
It's not like we're working against each other. We're just trying to find out a way to work together.
Much like my deer analogy, if you study the deer, which is how we got to this point, you'll realize what does every seller want? And I always get the answer to sell their house. No, they want an offer first.
Yeah.
Because they could have a house for $200,000. You could say it's $100,000, and they don't want to do business with you because they don't want $100,000. What they want is they want to find the person that has the closest valuation and willing to pay that valuation to them so they can get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So they want offers.
Yeah. If 20 people say 150, one guy goes 180, after 3 months you can go, crap, take the 180 and go.
Right.
What are you going to do? But you need some feedback. It's just feedback.
Right.
It's like a little survey.
Right. It's bringing a house to the market.
Yeah. The market doesn't matter what you want. Doesn't matter
That's
what
right.
we want.
That's right.
We're
It
in a
matters what
pool.
the seller will accept.
Yeah.
To transfer ownership or let you control it. Number 2.
That was all number 1?
That was number 1.
Jeez, I can't wait for number 2.
Ready?
Yeah.
You're going to go, what's that, Bill?
Should I say it now?
NSAs.
No, I'm just going to let you explain it. Go ahead.
Non-sales related activities.
Wouldn't it be NISRA?
Yeah. Non-sales related activities.
Relative?
Relative.
Oh, okay. So activities that are non-sales relative.
Right.
Okay. Explain me.
This means administrative tasks, research, watching videos, surfing the internet, thinking you need to know every offer strategy by heart and really good at it and be as good as I am before talking to a seller. That's what it means.
Okay.
Excuse me. Wherever you aren't pre-screening, qualifying, and setting up a presentation for a closing, you're NSAing.
Yeah. Okay. Where'd you get that one?
It's an old sales term.
Oh, okay. Never heard that one.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's just sales talk.
Sure.
You know, you have to realize I was in that arena, in that high-powered, high-tension, you're only as good as the week you're in
Yeah.
arena for quite a while.
Yeah.
6 years when I traveled, 40 weeks a year. You're only as good as the stats. Because what happened in my life is if you struck out 3 times, you got taken off the road. You didn't have the opportunity to go out and actually make a sale. And you have to make like some sort of amends. You would have to get on the phone and you would have to call people, past deals or other deals, and make a sale before you can get back on the road. What I mean on the road is I was selling consulting to automotive repair shops for I think $12,000 or $13,000 a pop, and you would get 12 to 15 auto repair shop owners in a seminar to sit down with and consult them and see if they had any wants to get consulting and sell them a consulting package.
Mm-hmm.
So the company spent a lot of money putting butts in seats in seminars around the country. And if you blew your 8, 10, 12 leads a week, the company's like, we spent a lot of money, you piece of shit. Like, you only got 1 or 2 more chances, otherwise I'm taking you off the road because we're spending all this money and we need to make income.
Yep.
So if you went 3 weeks, didn't make a sale,
Boom.
yeah,
Well,
and then you'd have to go figure out how to make a sale to get back on the road.
sounds like real life.
So that's high pressure.
Sure. You go hunting and you miss a deer 3 times. You go home empty-handed. The family's hungry.
Right.
They look for a new daddy.
Necessity level is the mother
A
of
new
invention.
hunter.
Necessity level is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
Right. Now, whenever you aren't prospecting, qualifying, and setting up presentations, you are or closing, you are NSAing. Okay? And nowadays, this is even easier than ever because now what we do is a non-salesman, wimpy approach. You don't even need to be a salesman anymore because use my stuff, which is not available unless you get involved in this new program. I haven't released it and I'm not giving it away for free. This calculator and the way to do it, right? Basically, anybody can do it. You don't have to be a salesman. You don't even have to confront people. You don't even have to talk to people. Barely. You text them with 3 or 4 questions. If they answer them correctly, you get on the phone, you ask like literally 4 questions. And if they say, yeah, I might be interested, you sell them an offer pack, which by the way is a letter of intent and frequently asked questions. Right?
Yeah, and I've seen some of the script. It isn't like pushy salesman stuff.
No.
It's pretty much the opposite.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Right? So, and you just send them an offer, and then you call a couple days later, and say, "What'd you think?" And if you do, hey Em, could you give me the presentation I used last night? I want to read this. I didn't think of this until just now, but I want to read this. And I could just say it, but I won't have the right impact. So she's going to give it to me in about 2 minutes. And I'm going to read this.
Mm-hmm. This is really new stuff.
There you go. Thank you. So here we go. I got to find this in the presentation. This was really cool. When I wrote this...
This is your presentation we did last night at our big Christmas party, end of year celebration, lots of gifts, raffles, prizes.
It was fun,
food,
wasn't it?
Pizza, grinders, chicken tenders, cookies. Yeah, it was lots of fun. Data chips, pretzels. Bill, I'm about 2 hours into the training on this. I just saw a couple of those.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like all the pieces come together.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, it's so easy. My wife is going to do it.
I know. I know. I'm not going to be able to find this. We should do this. I should do this as a podcast. Just read this presentation.
Yeah. Well, you won't have to do one of your write-ups one week.
Yeah, exactly. It's been 3 hours. I already wrote it up.
Yeah. It's all pretty and big words and everything.
Oh, come on, Bill. Can you shut that heater off, please? Thank you, sweetheart. I'm sorry, folks. I should have done this before. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. So basically, it was like... just do it from memory. Okay, here it is. I found it.
Okay, folks, Bill found it.
Here we go.
Newsflash.
Newsflash. The amount of offers you make gauges how long it will take you to get those big checks. Make one offer a year, and you might get one when you retire.
Someday.
Do one offer per month, and next Christmas, because it's Christmas now, next Christmas you might tell us a story about how you got close to that deal. Right?
Come on, 1 out of 12.
Or you bought a skinny deal so you could feel good.
Got one.
Do one offer per week, and you might get a deal by spring. Make one offer or more per day, and you will have a deal within 30 days. This is different than what I have been telling you before, only because it was too hard for newbies to get out of the house and make offers. Done this way, you make the offer first, and then when they are ready to say yes, you go out to the house and you make the deal. If you do one of these a day, guaranteed within the next 30 days, you will have a deal.
You know, you said for years, an offer a day, and we go, yep, sure, Bill. Yeah, we can do that.
Keeps the debt away.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. You know, you have a bit of a machine. A few of us to help. We all kind of work together, and a lot of people don't have that.
Right.
So just the idea of like one a day put through a lot of people, I'm sure, into apathy. But this,
right?
As I said, my wife's going to do this.
Right.
So yeah, this way you can make that many offers.
Totally. Basically, you're going to go onto Zillow. You're going to find a deal based on the selective criteria that you've decided, right? So a lot of pre-qualifying is done then. So you'll look for for sale by owners or renters, and you're going to look for certain mediums, price mediums that you know about. You're going to look in areas where houses sell quickly, Right? And that's all research that I show you how to do, or I'm going to show you how to do in the new program.
And you have to do that before you, but you don't have to do that over and over and over.
No, you do that once.
And that's one of the smart things about this. You're not just throwing things out there.
Yep.
You're really determining what's a good chance that I'll get some fish if I go there.
Right.
It's not just go anywhere.
Right.
Exactly. People go out in boats like you do. I don't do that. But they have the radar things, and they find where the schools are. That, the fish. Then you go.
That's right.
You don't just go in the middle of the ocean and like boing.
Exactly. So once you find these people, you send a text, right?
Yep.
To finish the pre-qualifying, because you started it with how you picked the house, and you're going to finish it, and ask a few key questions. And then once you get on the phone, it's very non-intrusive. Then send the seller a follow-up letter attached to a letter of intent, 3 basic offers, followed by a lease option explanation document, which you can get online on my free stuff page, that has the exact frequently asked questions we've heard over and over and over again so many times.
Yeah, you know how important that is?
Yeah.
One question that the wife goes, but what if?
Yep.
I'm not doing it. Because as soon as people get nervous, I'm not doing it. Just one question. That has all of them.
So it immediately makes you the expert.
Mm-hmm.
The document makes you the expert and somebody that you can be trusted.
Well, you can't have a sheet like that unless you've done it a bunch.
Right.
You don't just make one up.
Right. And it's interesting what you just said a minute ago, because here's what I do know, having been a salesman for a very long time, is people say no to what they don't understand.
Yeah, I've seen that. If you're in doubt of something, you can't say yes.
Right.
You can't say, I don't know. So all you got left is no.
Right.
And you wind up not doing something. You could be completely wrong, but, well, I did make a mistake. Or did you make a mistake by not doing something you should have done?
Right.
Yeah, but people go, no, walk away.
So imagine this. I, Bill Hawthorne, will be able to say by the end of next year that I have not made 4,000 plus offers. Because if all the people, all my students start doing this and use my documents, I'll be making offers in every one of their houses for them. I'll be making the offer, not them. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Then, after you send this offer, a few days later, you call them, ask them, what did you think? By the way, this is perfect for the novice investor because the 3 offers are 1, a discount or a cash deal. 2, a rent to own. 3, a lease option. a rent to own or a lease option. And 3, a slot deal, which are the simplest way to control real estate and make money now, money monthly, and money later.
Yeah.
So let me just give you a quick example. Owner's asking 160.
Okay.
Cash offer could be like 105. Lease option, you want to have the rent to own, you want to have at least 15% worth of equity, which we've been talking about for 180 shows.
Yeah.
15% worth of equity and about 20 to 25% cash flow.
Right, because this deal you're staying in. You're going to be the manager in the middle of that. So that's your pay.
Right. So $1,500 profit, $1,500 rent means you should make somewhere around $300.
Yep.
Right? 25%. Right? So your second offer would be maybe 130.
Yeah. It's coming up.
So first offer is 105, 108. Second offer is 130, 135. And this spreadsheet I have does all that for you. Right?
Yeah.
The third offer is give him his asking price at 160.
That's true. But what does he have to do to get his full price?
So you're going to do a slot deal.
Yeah.
So the first deal is a cash deal. Second deal is a rent to own or a lease option.
Yeah.
And then the third deal is give him his offer, which is a sandwich lease option transfer. So basically you're going to sign a lease option with him and you're going to assign it to your seller. Buyer.
Yeah. So that way he gets more money, but he has to be the manager and has more responsibility. He's got to wait, but that's what he has to do to get his money.
Totally.
Yeah. He doesn't want to do any of that. Take the 105 offer.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that either. Well, let's go in the middle.
So basically what you're going to tell him is the difference between a slot deal and a lease option deal or a rent to own deal is if you don't want the responsibility or the hassle of being the landlord or the responsibility of that role, then you need to give me 15% equity and about 25% cash flow so I can stay in the deal and I'll manage the property for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's also being offset by the fact that he's not getting $105,000 cash. He's getting $130,000, so he's getting a little bit more by giving you a little bit
There
more.
is a plethora. A plethora means a lot, a shit ton of technology behind those three offers.
Yeah.
Sales technology.
Yeah.
It's actually technically called a comparative offer because you give them the low, the high, and the middle. It's just comparative. There's all comparisons, and they comfortably pick usually the middle one, that's why it's in the middle.
Yeah. But what's crazy to me about it is it's like really the full spectrum. It's like when you're in a house and you're talking to people, if they don't accept your offer, who the hell who's going to come by and do anything?
Right.
There's nothing left.
Right.
Because we have all the offers there are. It could be this, that, or the other. Pick one. There isn't anything else.
Right.
The only thing else is your own delusions of what you think is going to happen.
Right.
Now, if it happens, fine. But, we're talking to people that are more likely to take one of those offers.
So, Peter, I get that.
Yeah.
But based on what you're saying, what happens if someone does take that cash offer?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, if it's good enough a deal, somebody should be interested in partnering with you.
No. You can't say that, Peter.
What?
You can't say that. If
What?
it's a good enough a deal.
Yeah.
The calculator does it so it is a good deal.
That's what. Yeah.
That is a good
I'm
deal
speaking
because
kind of in
you're
general,
160 or and I'm giving just like generic numbers so you can understand.
Yeah.
But that 70% minus repairs minus is
the good deal.
is a deep discount.
Yeah.
So how do you buy that deal? So how would one of our listeners that doesn't have money do that deal? Maybe they would be nervous about giving a cash offer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do?
Well, I know what I would do.
Tell me.
Well, if it's that good a deal, you can find people who'll put the money in for you.
Right.
Go to the private money course, how to raise money section of the website, and it's there. Or call you for help.
Yep.
There are people. There's a lot of money out there looking for something to do.
Yep.
And
So what Peter's talking about, flippinghouses4rookies.com, top right-hand side, hit courses. There's a private money course there.
How to raise money.
And the first portion of it is for free.
Yeah. My cousin has $250,000 sitting in an account. His father has probably $300,000 or $400,000 sitting in an account. They have no idea what to do with it. It sits there. That's because they're old and and it's just sitting there. My other cousin has scads of money in the stock market and things, but that goes up and down. You want me to go on? People have money.
I had an ex-coaching client who was a client with mine a couple years ago who every month I would have to chase him for his payment. He told me, Billy says, I'm back. You want to know why back? I'm back. No, why? He says, I got like 20 grand sitting in a checking account. I have no idea what to do with it. And that's just in the checking account. He recouped.
Yeah.
And he just got that money. He just got 20 grand just sitting there. I don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's like.
Yep.
So the secret to private money is this. Money chases deals. Deals don't chase money. And if you think deals chase money, you got it backwards. Money chases deals. Anybody that has money is looking for a safe, good, solid place to park it so that they don't have to worry about it.
I just realized something you saying that. That first offer, you were talking about it last night, that first offer, that cash offer, it's got to be so low it makes you embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's so low, it's like, he's never going to say yes to this. But the point is, it's so low that if you're nervous about it, you won't get to have to do it. But it's so low, if you do get it, it's a really good deal.
And you could, and here's how the person that has that deal handles it. They outflow. You start bragging about this deal that you got. You start telling everybody like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. I have this contract and it says that I'm buying this, $100,000 house. I mean, this $300,000 house for 50 grand. I mean, I'm being facetious, and people will be like, oh, really? and I'm like trying to raise money for it. You just outflow, and I guarantee you 100% you will find money. It's under your nose. You don't know it. And a lot of that money is in retirement money, IRA money, 401k money, a lot in savings accounts. I'm going to tell you right now, you probably know 5 people right now that have equity in their house that can get a line of credit and fund you on your deals.
Mm-hmm. Especially the older they are, the more they've lived in the house.
Right.
More that in my family, there's 2 houses that are paid off.
So I'm going to say this last thing that I've never said on the airwaves, but I'm going to say it now just because I feel like I'm in a good mood.
Bill, is this another Christmas gift?
Yeah. This is no secret, but there's software called PropStream. It's been around for a while. It's $97 a month. PropStream. It's if you're not a realtor, this is realtor software. You go on there, and it has sales. It has all the town data. It talks about who owns the properties, how much they own them for. It has an unbelievable amount of data across the country. If your county doesn't have an online website to look up tax records, PropStream has it.
Is that short for Property Stream?
I don't know. I didn't make up the name.
Okay.
What do you care? It's the name.
Because they have such weird names.
Who cares?
I'm just that kind of a guy.
$97. Now watch this. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you're worried about getting an offer made for cash and you don't believe me that it's under your nose and that the guy sitting next to you on the bus or at Christmas dinner or in church doesn't have that money and you're going to be that thick-headed, you thick-headed bastard you.
Just because you don't have the money.
Here's what you do. Put up $97, you cheap son of a bitch. And I'm being mean. And buy PropStream. And in there's a link that you can go on. And what you do is you can draw on the map. Draw a circle or put your zip code in around the area that you want, that your house is in.
Mm-hmm.
Like draw a circle, like a 5-mile circle.
Yeah.
Or just put that zip code in PropStream. And there's a link that will give you a calendar that will allow you to go back any length of time you want. 30 days, 10 days, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You fill out that calendar. Go back like a year. And then ask it to show you who paid cash for their house in the last time period that you put in there. So you put your zip code in there. This isn't PropStream. You put your zip code in there. Right? You go find the calendar. It's a link. It's right there. It says cash buyers.
Oh, cash buyers. And this is cash buyers for their own houses or
Doesn't
investment?
matter.
Do you know?
They paid cash for a house.
Yeah.
The deed said there's no mortgage.
Yeah.
When they passed the deed, there's no mortgage.
Yeah.
This is public information.
Sure.
And you will come up with dozens of people that paid cash for their house or a piece of property. Now, you can go into my private money course and actually for like $100 or whatever it is, $200, get my actual presentation on how I talk to private lenders.
Yeah.
Send them a letter and say you'd like to have lunch with them. I mean, get off of it. Getting the money is the easiest effing thing in the world to do for real estate. It's you. That's who it is. Get off of it. Or get off the podcast and go do something else. Go fishing, go hunting, pick another career. Because if you can't get past this, you shouldn't be in this business. End of rant. Number 3, the last one. Time kills deals. And I wrote this one for me. So Bill is talking to Bill. Okay? Believe it or not, once I get my coaching clients through the stuff we just discussed, my biggest barrier is getting them to answer the frickin' telephone. Really.
Your own students?
And me. How many times have you seen my messages on my machine go for 3-4 days?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know if you get half of mine.
They freeze half of your what?
Messages, emails, I don't know.
I just get too many in a day. I can't keep up with it. Right? Anyways, what happens is when the phone starts to ring, people start to freeze. Much like a deer in the headlights. Pun intended.
Oh, the analogy continues.
Simply put, a sale is likely to happen. A sale's likely not to happen as time passes, right? Which is why we are now moving to making offers without looking at the house, just like we just explained. Because what's the only thing that the seller wants?
Offers.
Right? And then once they get enough offers, they want to do picky choosy. ABC, Simon, what is it?
Simple Simon?
No, scissors, what is it?
Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah.
Oh.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
There you go. Because that's what they want to do.
Rock is the cash offer.
Yeah.
Paper is the rent-own, and scissors is the slot deal. Because we cut loose after that one.
So if they're calling, I got that. If they're calling and they want an offer, when should you strike? While the iron's hot.
Get off the phone, type the damn thing, send it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they want it now.
Yeah. Can I say
and they'll wait. If you say, I'm going to send you one in the mail or I'll email you one, they'll go look at it.
Yeah. And we don't know at this point if they'll accept it right away or they'll wait a few weeks to see what happens. A month goes by, nothing happens. Crap, and they call back. We don't really quite know that yet because it's that new. Or do you have any feedback from anybody who's tried this?
Say it again. I didn't get it.
Do we send it out right away? Do we have any feedback? Like, will they answer right away? Will they think about a couple of weeks?
Doesn't matter.
We don't know yet, do we?
Doesn't matter because if you're sending out so many offers, what you do is certain time of the week, like on Fridays, you call all the offers you made for the week and say, what did you think?
Yeah.
Or just give them a call to action in the document that they can contact you. They'll call you. If they want the offer, they'll call you. If they don't, they're just less motivated. If your offer is way off, they'll shun you. Like Little Red Riding Hood running away from the big bad wolf.
Oh.
How's that for an analogy?
Nice.
But if your offer's close, they'll keep talking to you. Now, will they say yes? Maybe. Maybe not. But they'll keep talking to you. I have some questions. What about this? What about that?
So you take
How does this work?
So you take your frequently answered questions sheet out that they might have or not read, and you read that back to them. When
Pretty
you're new,
much.
Right? When you're new, it's, what if I know the answers? Well, you got that sheet. Now, the other thing, if you don't know answers, I learned this from you a long time ago, you're not expected to know everything. Nobody knows everything in this world. Not every doctor, not every lawyer knows every answer. That's why executives have staff and advisors and things like that. So it's okay to not have an answer. Tell them, I'm not sure of that, but let me check with my team and I'll get back to you.
Right.
And they'll appreciate that.
That's right.
They'll figure you're not bullshitting them.
Exactly.
And it's okay.
And you just send a support ticket into me. And, flippinghouses4rookies.com, top right hand side, contact us, and you'll get your answer.
Yep.
Okay. That's why the 3 offers we give are cash low, slot is their asking price, and the rent owns in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They're comparative offers. Right? And if you're worried about getting your cash offer, which we just talked about, getting accepted, and not having the money to build it, which we just talked about, then listen to podcast number 146 on how do I finance my first real estate deal. So if that's still an issue after my little rant, go listen to podcast number 146, which is called How Do I Finance My First Real Estate Deal?
But also, when they say, I'll do it, you haven't signed papers yet. You're not liable for it in that second. You're not. You're not like...
And with lease options, even if you sign the documents, you're still not. The worst case scenario is you walk away. That's it.
The lease, that's a no-brainer. I'm just saying on the cash offer, you haven't signed documents that you're going to be dragged to court. You didn't pay for it.
I got it.
That's what I mean.
That makes sense.
You guys said yes. You didn't do anything yet. It's okay. Right. Things fall apart. If it really goes to shit, go, I'm sorry, my financing fell through. I need another few weeks. I can't wait. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
Then go practice some more. Keep working on your financing. If you don't get financing the first deal, keep going. You'll get it the second deal, just as a backup in case it screws up. You don't have to be perfect at this because you learn step at a time. If you don't win it the first time, you'll win the second time. It's okay.
Nice rant, Pete.
That's right, because I have trouble getting my private money, but I keep working at it when it comes up every once in a while, and I'll get it. You know.
Cool.
Some of my guys say, I have plenty of money, but it's in things that take me 30 days to get out, and maybe I can't wait that long, but maybe they'll pull it out, have it available. It works out one way or the other.
Nice. I can promise this. If you have a deal bought for pennies on the dollar, money will come out of the woodwork like cockroaches in a dark kitchen with a rotting banana on the floor.
That's appealing. Yeah.
Please go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/podcast and give us a review. We need reviews. Also, to go get some of the documents we're talking about, the lease option document or lease option explain document, to see what a slot deal is, to see what a rent-to-own deal is or a lease option deal, or to see what a rehab and flip deal, because that's where I go over the math for cash offers.
Yeah, the formula is right there.
Right?
Very simple formula.
Go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff and watch those videos, and you will get an education, I promise you, that you've never had before.
Yeah, because you don't have to drag a contractor through to find out what the estimate is for the repair before you put the offer in, do you, Bill?
Exactly.
You don't? No, you don't.
This is a new evolution for you, me, and our listeners. I hope you enjoyed it. Go do the work. Go listen. If you have questions, send any questions in to the support ticket at flippinghousesforrookies.com. Over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.